If you are an Opendoor shareholders, get ready because this stock can go 10x from here. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the game, I'm the wolf of Dubai.
If you don't know who I am, my name is Denny and I'm looking for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x stocks. I invested, for example, a lot in Tesla when it was a $17 company. Then it went down to $6. I just bought more and then it went even up to $500 after the last election, and rest is history. Some of my followers bought even apartments or even houses in the US. So it's worth to subscribe to this channel if you're looking for the next X or 20x or 30x stocks, okay? I also only advertise my own products, so check out X10daytrading.com if you want us trade for you. Day trades on options every single day. Our team selects the trade, send it to your portfolio. It's all done for you. You just have to switch on our software that looks like that and you will get our performance. We did trades last couple of days on Tesla, on Opendoor. Yes, even we traded Opendoor and made 40% profits, and also we traded Robinhood, as you can see here. And if you want to have this software all done for you, then check out X10daytrading.com. If you have $10,000 or more, schedule a call with me personally and we see if we can help you as well. Now, Opendoor is a cool stock. Not a cool stock, it's also a cool stock, but it's a cult stock, okay? I believe that Opendoor has a huge potential. And in this video, we will break down what I think about the stock, what I think about the company, what I think about one of the biggest spokesmen, Eric Jackson, a hedge fund manager from the beautiful land of Canada, the land of, I would say, the apartment above the party, okay? If US is the party, you know, Canada is the apartment above the party. So we will talk about what it will take to Opendoor absolutely explode, okay? But first I want to show you that actually Opendoor already had a huge value increase, okay? So have a look into that. So Opendoor, usually, I don't know if you know the, let's say, the history behind Opendoor, but it was a SPAC that was brought by Chamath Palihapitiya to the stock market, you know. So as you can see over the last 5 years, you know, it went, you know, or IPO'd for about like $12, then went up to $31 and then had the huge run like so many other spec stocks to the downside. But something changed. Something totally changed over the last couple of months. In the summer, in June, this stock was 50 cents. And then it had a huge run just recently, over 1,000% in just a matter of few weeks. Okay, so let's dive into the first video that I would love to show you, which is Eric Jackson. Eric Jackson, I saw him on Twitter and I saw that he's standing with a sign in front of Drake's, yes, the rapper Drake's house, and said, buy Opendoor, okay? And I said like, okay, that's a quite of weird approach by a hedge fund manager, okay? But then I watched a couple of videos and we did a lot of research with the team, and actually I like that, okay? I like what I see. So let's dive into the short video and we will see what Eric Jackson says about Opendoor.
That in America, there's a popular steakhouse chain called Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And one of the things that makes Ruth's Chris Steakhouse very popular is they understand it's about the steak and the sizzle. And so like the quality of the steak is always very high when you go there. But half of the experience, at least, is when they deliver the steak to your table and it's on a platter and it's steaming hot and there's this, you know, hissing sound.
Yeah.
And you're looking at this and you're sort of taking it all in. It's an experience. But if the steak wasn't good, you know, you have a few bites and you spit it out and you probably never come back. And so I think, you know, GameStop, all these meme stocks, all sizzle, no steak, value investors, investing in, I don't know, banks or all this stuff. I mean, all steak, no sizzle, no excitement. I mean, Opendoor. So like, you know, I think what's made Opendoor is that there's so many layers to the story. Of course, you're right that there's this social media aspect and going in front of Drake's house and all that is important. But if there was no fundamental overlooked story to the company. Like to me, the comparison that I made it right from the beginning. I don't know if you're familiar with this company. It's called Carvana. It's an American company where they almost died a few years ago. They were a high flying growth stock. They went to $400. They were trying to revolutionize how you buy and sell used cars in America, only through an e-commerce platform instead of going to the local auto dealer to buy your used car. And they had to raise a lot of debt to build out their national model. They were encouraged by Wall Street to grow. Don't make money, just keep growing, keep expanding. They understood the sizzle part. They built these, like, they look like big bubblegum machines by the side of the road on the interstate. But instead of gum, they have cars in them. And like when if you're in the area, you buy online a car from Carvana, they deliver it to one of these bubblegum machines. You put in your coin, you press the button, and the car comes out and you drive it away. And so, it's part of the experience. But anyway, they were losing money. They go to $400. Then interest rates start rising around the world after COVID because they realize inflation is out of control. So all the growth stocks and crypto crashes. Carvana crashes from 400 to a low of $3.50 in December of 2022. And people thought they were just going to go bankrupt, and then that equity would go to zero. And then now they've come all the way back to 400. So I had traded the stock before, so I knew it. Then I got out of it, and then I was like, I noticed, when after I had the big billionaire withdraw his money, I was like, what am I going to do? Oh my God, is my life over and all this? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to build an AI team at my company, and we're going to like build financial models and make me smarter and, manage risk better and not have the, kinds of down years like we had in 21 and 22. And so the first AI model we built in the first iteration in May of 23, we pressed the button to, pump out the output. Like, okay, what stock should I buy? And like, not number one, number two on the list was Carvana. And I was like, oh my God, the model must be broken, and the guys, I said, Aaron, can you take this back? Can you make sure that this isn't crazy?
Sending back to the kitchen.
So yeah, it was at the time it was $11. It wasn't $3 like a few months before. So Aaron he always takes longer than I want, but he took a week to come back and answer my simple question. He said, no, it's right. You should buy Carvana. And by that time it was $15. And so I said, okay, well, I gotta eat the dog food here. Okay, I'm going to buy it. And then it went from 115 to, now 400. But that was a fundamental, there was a fundamental turnaround story. And that's the same thing with Opendoor. But the funny thing is, back then, nobody cared about Carvana. I would go on TV, I would talk, the hosts on the TV show would get mad at me for bringing it up. They said, it's such a bad stock. Why are you mentioning it? Don't talk about it. We just want to talk about Tesla, Nvidia, and Apple here. Nobody tweeted at me. My followers didn't double. Nobody said, hey, that's great. I'm looking for the next Carvana, Eric. Thanks a lot for flagging that. That's a great opportunity you mentioned. Nobody cared because nobody thought it was possible that a stock could do that. But now, 2 years later, everybody, I don't think I saw anybody say anything positive about Carvana until it was like over $300 a share. It just grew in silence. And so I think, Opendoor is that kind of story, but now people have been, trained to, or they can see that this is possible. So when I say, hey, this is the next Carvana, now like everybody, thinks that they missed the boat the first time on the first Carvana. So now they want to get the second Carvana. And so that's part of the FOMO.
So he actually explains that Opendoor reminds him a lot about Carvana, and Carvana was another stock that absolutely skyrocket like tremendously. Okay, so have a look. So over the last 5 years, Carvana went on a ride from about $345 to $6 and then 8,000% to $375, which is insane. Okay. And guess who was an investor in Carvana? Yes, it was Eric Jackson. When you go on his X account, then you actually see the Carvana hedge fund guy. Okay, so he's the founder of EMJ Capital, which is a hedge fund, and he's focusing on this moonshots. Okay, he goes not for 5x bangers and a double, he goes for 50, 100x investments. Okay, and actually, one of his track records that he published a couple of weeks ago is insane. Okay, so he was investor in Baba. He invested in MicroStrategy, 6 months before the new CEO Nadella took over and, had a huge value explosion. He went also into Roku, Twilio, and Carvana. He went into Coin at 38. We are close to 400 on Coin. Okay, just so you know. Then he went into Uber. He went into Deft and Iron at 9. Iron is now at $31. So as you can see, and he bought Open for $73 only. Okay, so he's quite successful in what he's done. And I think that once you focus on those moonshots, you really become extremely good. And I really like how he talks. Like, you first think this is like a crazy guy standing in front of Drake's house. But then you think, well, he has something on his theory that actually Opendoor can totally change its company. And then it can be quite very, very successfully. Okay, as you can see, you see a lot of marketing for the stock. He calls the people that invest in Opendoor Open Army, which is quite interesting. One of my personal most favorite technical traders, he said that he never saw such a great chart when he looked at Opendoor, which is also fantastic. So everything looks quite explosive, but let's talk about the business model and why it can really explode in the next couple of months and years. So Opendoor's business model is quite interesting. Okay, so they want to make it very easy to buy and sell your house. So actually what they do, they go out there, you are listing your house, you tell them that you have a house for sale, they buy it, they renovate it, and they flip it. Okay, so as you can see, this kind of business model gets quite difficult if interest rates are going higher. That's why it was a huge crash. Also, the CEO, the management was not the best, and Eric Jackson actually thinks that it would be great to have like a CEO like Travis Kalanick, like, the guy who created Uber. But, I think that the current CEO is from the internal team, which, replaced the old CEO, which was also another push for the stock. And now Eric Jackson would love to see a mix up of the board and also maybe a huge famous CEO coming to the company, and that could push at least the stock at like 3x. Okay, because you have different kind of forces here at Opendoor. So you have first, a very big cult that people want to be early. They want to have it 100x stock. Then you have the company itself. They have still trouble to, create their business model to a very profitable one. But obviously AI is a big way to even help them to be even more, to get to an extremely profitable pathway. And then you have, the overall open army, the cult, the changes in the management. So we're quite early. So I think that the stock can be very, very volatile. We can see, $8 between $3, a huge range. But I think that if they do what they want to do, and if they really turn around the business, then this can be a 10x stock at least. This is the very first video on Opendoor. If you liked it, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And also, if you own already some Opendoor, check out x10daytrading.com if you want us to trade for you. And then I will see you tomorrow because the grass is greener on the other side.